My sister-in-law told her son to untie my swimsuit top at my daughter's birthday, then laughed while I clutched my chest and said, "You obviously can't take a joke." When I confronted her, she rolled her eyes and sneered, "You need to lighten up." Fast forward to now she's mad because I ruined her life. I think she needs to lighten up. I'm probably one of the only women I know that can genuinely say that I love my Mel. She was welcoming towards me from the beginning, and even helped me plan my wedding with her son. She is the type of woman to approach you at a family gathering when she sees you're alone, or to include you in a conversation at the dinner table when you have no idea what everyone's talking about. There's even been times where me, her, and my husband hang out and we start bickering, and she'll take my side. But unfortunately, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law are the complete opposite. For context, they're racist. You see, I'm Irish while they're all British, which doesn't even make sense because weren't they the ones to colonize US? But anyway, my husband never rubbed it in or even mentioned it, so I assumed they would be the same. But I was wrong. The first time I met his brother and sister, we were going out for lunch and I said, "Oh, I'm so hungry." Then the brother immediately chimed in and said, "You know, I thought you would have been used to hunger by now." I didn't know what he meant, but then the sister said, "Yeah, like didn't the famine prepare you for this moment?" They then proceeded to laugh snort like it was the funniest thing humanity has ever heard. I honestly wanted to shout back about how they're the greediest nation, how they're an effing joke. But I bit my tongue because I figured if they were related to my husband, then they were probably good people. Unfortunately, I was wrong. When we sat down for dinner, they continued to make jokes about how I shouldn't waste time eating because I need to go win back the 6 counties England took from us. It even got to the point where my husband told them to shut the F up. And my mother-in-law is too nice to say anything, but she completely ignored them for the rest of the day. My husband spent the entire car ride home apologizing on their behalf. He told me that they had always been the type to gang up on people and bully them, but he genuinely thought that they had changed. After that, my husband promised that we would go low contact with them, and my mother-in-law promised to warn us if they'd be at any event in future. That's when I knew I had chosen the right man to marry. Before I continue, you should probably know that I was born and raised in the foster system, meaning my husband's family was all I had. Okay, now back to the story. Fast forward to a year later when our baby girl was born. I had no choice but to have my sister-in-law and brother-in-law in the birthing room, alongside my mother-in-law and husband. When labor started, my mother-in-law practically shoved them out of the room, and so my mother-in-law and husband were the one holding my hands when baby Isabella was born. She was so beautiful, and my mother-in-law practically became a live-in babysitter while we raised her. But one day, I couldn't call off work and my mother-in-law was sick. So in a moment of panic, I called my SEL. Even though I hated her, she had a kid of her own. So I figured that she would be prepared to take care of my baby well. She agreed, and I came home from work that day to a fully cleaned house with freshly cooked dinner on the table and a smiling Isabella. From there, our relationship began to be rebuilt. Because if you can make my baby girl happy, then you automatically gain 20 positive points in my books. By that point, Isabella was 5, while my SIL's son was 7, and my BIL's was 6. So they frequently hung out for playdates and sleepovers at our house, mainly because I always wanted my child to have the big family I never had. Honestly, seeing them laugh and be dumb together made my heart so full with love. And by the end of the day, Isabella was always happier than when the day started. So for her 6th birthday party, I invited them plus some of her elementary school friends. It was at the local water park, which was ideal. Kiddie pools, smaller slides, dozens of lifeguards. I thought my biggest issue would be making sure that they didn't run and fall on the poolside surface, but I was wrong. It happened when we were in the pool. I was working with my daughter on swimming, laughing as she tried to splash water on my face when I felt it. A tug of my strings of my top untying it. At this exact moment, Isabella began to swim away, and my instinct kicked in and I extended my arms to bring her back. Next thing I knew, I had accidentally flashed the entire pool with my chest, full cherries out. I screamed and turned around, accidentally hitting the son of my SEL. This all happened in the span of 5 seconds. He screamed and all heads turned our way, and so I took him and Isabella out of the pool. Daniel, Sil's son's name. What happened? I'm sorry mommy told me to do it. She didn't tell me you'd get mad. Anger boiled my blood. Next thing I knew, people were coming up to me and telling me I should be ashamed of laying hands on a child, that I deserved to rot. Suddenly my Bill's son ran up to where we were standing and pushed over Isabella. Now I was livid. Dylan appeared out of nowhere, having heard the commotion from the snack bar. He took one look at Isabella crying, me clutching my top, and the crowd forming around us, and immediately knew something was wrong.